Teresa McCurry. How you doing, Pastor T?
I'm doing great, Apostle James. Thanks so much for that wonderful introduction. And welcome to CNE, Christian Networking Entrepreneurs. I'm your host, Pastor T, where we talk to emerging entrepreneurs, small business owners, and community leaders. And today we have two phenomenal guests that are joining us from the National Development Council, NDC. Welcome to the show, Faye. Welcome to the show, O.
Thank you.
Hello,
Appreciate it.
thank you.
Hi, everyone.
Thank you guys for coming. I'm going to start with you, O. So normally when we have our show, we find out from our guests their business story. What got you into business? How did you get to this point that you are today? So give us a little background about yourself and tell us, how did you get into business today?
Thank you, Teresa. My name again is Osaremi, born and raised in Lagos, Nigeria. Moved to Brooklyn, New York in 2007. And I've been in New York ever since. I went to school for finance, and my first job out of college was with the largest non-bank lender in the East Coast, making small business loans across New York City, across the five boroughs as well as upstate New York. So that's really how I got into business and business lending. I started there as a credit analyst, underwriting small dollar loans ranging in size from $50,000 to $2 million, primarily for startup businesses and primarily for minority-owned businesses all across New York City. I was there for a number of years, and really that's how I bootstrapped it and learned a little bit and a lot about small business lending. I then went on to work for a bank, a woman-founded bank in New York City, and a very small one called Savoy Bank in Midtown Manhattan, making small SBA guaranteed loans as well. And then I found myself at NDC, where really our mission here is to make credit available to minority-owned businesses and businesses in low-income areas. And my role here is that of a loan officer, as well as a credit administrator, helping design loan programs to help minority businesses obtain capital, whether that be small micro loans from $5,000 to $10,000 to large loans in the millions of dollars that can help get their business started or help grow their business.
All right, thanks so much. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
We're gonna pull on your expertise today and get my viewers some money.
Let's
All
do
right,
it.
Faith, tell us your story, your business story.
Absolutely. Well, hello, everyone. And again, thanks for having us. Teresa, my name is Fae Harris. I'm here in the Cleveland area. I got to NDC in a much different route. I'm originally from Boston, and my background is in marketing and hair care in particular. So I led marketing teams for a lot of well-known hair care companies, launching all different types of shampoos, conditioners, and treatments. And I'm sure you're saying, so how did I come about in DC? Well, it just so happened that throughout my experience in hair care marketing, I also consulted with a lot of small entrepreneurs who were making their own hair care line. A lot of them are handmade, or I was assisting them in making the transition to third-party manufacturing. I also have launched my own hair care product after kind of stepping out of the corporate world and getting more involved with my family. I started working with one client in particular in New York. And she has a great business. We did a lot of great things to help her grow. And through networking, she met the previous executive director of the multicultural impact team, who let her know that she was looking for someone here in this Cleveland area. And then I checked out NDC just as a business owner, looking into the programs that they had and the assistance that they offer, and ended up speaking with the organization and was really happy to join the team as their Cleveland area ambassador. So it's my role here in the Cleveland area to spread the word about the National Development Council in particular, the multicultural community impact team that O and I are on, and how we help businesses, not just through lending, but primarily and most importantly, through pre-loan counseling, mentoring, and training. And that's something I really want to spend some time on today, because as entrepreneurs, you know, capital is the lifeblood of our business. And, you know, we are always looking for ways to get that funding. But what's most important to really drive the business, specifically as an owner, as a CEO, as the one making business decisions, it's really important to get the training and understanding of how finances work. And that's something that the NDC definitely has to offer.
That's great. And I want to back up and talk about some of the things that you brought out. The first thing is, like, you're actually in that position because of networking. And that's one of the things that we share about at CNE all the time, the importance of networking. And our tagline is, if you don't network, you don't work. So just speak to that for a minute. I'm going to have Faye speak to that, and then I'm going to have you speak to that for O as well. How important do you guys think networking is as it relates to what you do?
Well, as you mentioned, it's everything. And I love that tagline is so true. If you don't network, you don't work. And for entrepreneurs, freelancers, for people who just make it happen for themselves, that's key, because you never know how all the dots can connect. And particularly in this environment, I think it's really cool we're doing this Zoom call back when outside was open and we could go to all the mixers and socialize in that way. It was really cool. I think now it's even more critical and in some ways a little bit easier, because you have a captive audience. You know, a lot of times when you're out networking, and I'm talking about in situations where it's a cold call situation, you're just walking into a room armed with your elevator pitch and your business cards, it could be difficult to strike up conversation. Now I'm finding that networking is really working for me, and reaching back out to the people that, you know, were formerly associates, people you saw that you really didn't speak to that much in a social setting. But now we have the phone, we have Zoom, and we have more of a captive audience. You can dig deep and, you know, talk to them about just what's going on in life. And that leads to so many opportunities. One of the great things about NDC and working with them and networking with owners like yourselves, pastors like yourselves, different people in the community, if I'm looking for an accountant, a lawyer, or, you know, just professional resources, that's a great way to find it. And you really, you have an opportunity to strike up some wonderful personal relationships as well. And that really does fuel your career and trajectory. Absolutely.
That is so true, so true. So, O, tell us about your networking stories. How do you think networking has helped you?
For sure. Before I even talk about how networking has helped me, I should piggyback on what Faye is saying for business owner on why networking is important. 90% from a lending side, 90% of the loans that I've made has been from referrals. Has been from, you know, an existing business owner that I've lent to in the past, referring another business owner, or an organization that is tasked with helping business owner find capital, referring that business owner to me. That's how important networking is, because you need to find and have people in your back pocket and your network that can speak on your behalf and speak to your business and your business history. And if you don't have history, your personal history. It's so critical. That's one of the key metrics for any lender or any bank. And when they make determinations of who will get money, frankly, is who can speak on your behalf. As it relates to my network and the importance of network, I've spent, again, the last couple of years working in the lending space, and I'm glad to say that because of my network, I've not even frankly submitted a job application in a number of years, even transferring from job to job, because people know about you, people talk about you, and people advocate on your behalf. So having a strong network is so important that when things may be going bad for many people, you may have opportunities presented to you that many don't have because of your network. So it's critical. It's critical on the lending side. It's critical to grow your business. It's critical to have a network of people that can speak on your behalf, because frankly, that's one of the fastest way to reach your goal.
That is, and to build your business. So networking is so crucial, and especially now in the climate of where things are. Just like Faye has said earlier, now we're not out, we're not shaking hands, we're not giving out our business cards. So if I'm not invited to the Zoom call, I'll never meet the individual. You know, if I'm not invited to where the things are happening, I can miss out on that.
Right.
So thank you guys for sharing. So tell us, what is NDC? My viewing audience wants to know, what is NDC?
Okay, yes, NDC is a wonderful national organization that really focuses on three things: jobs, homes, and most importantly, community. I've been talking about the multicultural community impact team that Osaremi and I are on. And what we really do is help minority businesses gain access to capital and the training that I really mentioned before. Of course, capital is key. It's the lifeblood of all business. But again, it's the training and the support, the mentorship, the guidance that National Development Council offers entrepreneurs that really makes a difference. And so I just want to, touch on some of the training, the types of training that we have available. We just wrapped up a summer series of a class that is called Cash Reigns Supreme. And, it's an excellent class. I do have a business background. I actually have an MBA as well. So as I sat through the training with many who I shared the opportunity with, it really took me back to those days where I was in the classroom. Because it's called Cash Reigns Supreme, it's all about managing cash in your business. What that means, how to do it. There was a lot of information around the financial reporting statements, balance sheets, cash flow statements, how to record these transactions. And all of that's very, very necessary, because as we look to help businesses gain capital, all lenders want to know that you have the capacity to use that capital in a smart way, and that most importantly, you're able to pay it back. And for that reason, cash reigns supreme. So I just like to take this time to let your audience know that they can find this information, again, and it's all free and at their convenience. They go to ndconline.org, nancydavidcharlieonline.org. And go to programs and services. They can find the multicultural community impact page. And on that page, there's a number of great things that they can do to sign up and get our newsletter, but most importantly, to hear a free replay of this 3-part series that we offered for the class Cash Reigns Supreme. It's generally conducted over a 3-week time period with like 1-hour class each week. And that makes it very easy to fit into your personal schedule, to set just that hour aside. It's kind of like what we used to call a lunch and learn. But in the event that you can't, it is recorded, and we do have replays. And again, that replay is available on ndconline.org. Go to the programs and services page and look up the multicultural community impact page. And if you scroll all the way down to the bottom to our resources section, you can find it there.
Awesome. I actually took part in that Cash Reigns Supreme. So
Oh, wow.
It was cool because I was on my way home. I just plugged my phone into the car, and while I was driving home, I was able to listen. So I wasn't able to hear all three of the classes. I want to say I caught the second and the third class, but it was a plethora of information. It was a whole lot of knowledge, and anybody that is in business or thinking about being in business is definitely beneficial. So I love the fact that you have the training. So could you just touch bases on the mentoring? What does that look like?
It looks like kind of what we're doing right here. One of the benefits of working with NDC, and particularly me as your Cleveland representative, is, I get to talk to people and get to understand their nuanced situation. On our team as our loan officer, can really help guide people in terms of the documentation that's needed. In the event that someone really doesn't have that documentation, and certainly this is his wheelhouse, I'll let him speak to it, but we try to really usher people through a process. We're in such an on-demand, networked internet world where, a lot of times you can go online and get loans, but you don't see anyone, you don't speak to anyone, you just have to upload whatever you upload. I think one of the benefits that we provide is, again, a real personal touch and speaking with people and kind of working them through the process. We have a training team, the people who disseminate the information, like you said, Teresa. We've recently gone to the online format. Prior to that, it was more hands-on. So we have people within the team and resources within the organization to really provide personalized service and understand what people need, how to walk them through the ecosystem.
Okay, thanks. So, go ahead,
Yeah, I was just gonna add to that. That's a great point. I think two things that make us stand out as an organization is our history and our experience. NDC has been around for 50 years. We celebrated our 50th anniversary in February, and we cover all grounds. We have an office where we're headquartered in New York, but we also have an office in Seattle. We have staff in Los Angeles, in South Florida, in Cleveland, pretty much all across the country, doing work not only in the lending space, but we build affordable housing. We receive new market tax credit allocations and use that to develop communities that are underserved. We also provide training. Outside of providing training directly to small businesses, we provide training to economic development practitioners. We've probably trained over 80,000 economic development folks over the last 20 to 30 years. And then we lend directly through two CDFIs that we own and manage. CDFI is a community development financial institution, and is a designation given by the United States Department of Treasury to make loans with a mission in low-income communities or to minorities. And we run two of them, one making government guaranteed loans across the country, specifically the SBA 7A loan. And over the last couple of months, we've participated in the PPP program, loaning over $80 million to over 650 businesses. And then through the second CDFI, Community Impact Loan Fund, and we'll talk in greater detail about that. We've made loans specifically in Cleveland, $1 to $5-6 million over the last couple of years to small minority-owned businesses in the area and also across the country as well. So that's one of the things that makes us stand out is our experience in doing this, but not only on the lending arm, but also all across the board. And the second thing, like Faye mentioned, is that you are talking to a person and not just a computer. I'm glad to say and proud to say that every single loan that we've ever made, there's been a touch. It's not automatic. You're not going to go online and apply and no one will reach out to you. You're going to talk to someone, and you're going to talk to someone a lot. So we provide that personal touch. We provide that technical assistance. We hate to turn people away. When we do say no, it's never like just a flat no. It's no, it's not now. Here's what you need to do to get there. And most importantly, we build partnerships in the communities that we work in. Partnerships that are able to help us accomplish our goal of getting capital out, We have partnerships in Ohio with the Urban League. We've ran loan programs with the Urban League, and we continue to have a strong partnership with them. We work with municipalities. We have relationships with Cuyahoga County, and I'll talk through a loan program that we are currently still administering in Cuyahoga County, making loans to minority-owned businesses impacted by COVID-19. So outside of our experiences, that you actually talk to someone. If it's not me, it's Fae. We have an office in Cleveland, so we have employees and staff members there, and I'll be right there for you in giving you the assistance that you need.
Man, you kicked out a whole lot of stuff, so let's back that thing up, okay? I'm like, Lord. Okay, so my audience is emerging entrepreneurs, right? So let's back all the way up. You said a few key things that I just need you to unpack so they can understand and get clear on what it is you actually do. So one of the things you said about economic development training, what does that look like?
Right. So we train folks that work in various nonprofit organizations or for municipality. An example is the Economic Development Department of Cuyahoga County. We will train them on one, not just lending, but how to provide the assistance and the technical assistance to the businesses that come through their door. Specifically, we provide them with credit analysis training. So they understand when they look at a business, how to look at a business plan, how to look at a business financial forecast, how to look at tax return and really break down to really get and understand the need of the borrower or to better serve them. And in many cases, we also provide real estate development training. So we go into different organizations and teach them how to do deals, frankly. An example will be, let's say Cuyahoga County had a plot of land that is unused in a low-income area that they wanted to develop. They will hire us to provide technical assistance in helping fund a project, but also meeting their goal is either providing a commercial facility or building low-income housing. So we find the developers and using our expertise to link the developers to the municipalities to get the project done. So we, providing training directly to small businesses through our classes that Faye mentioned, we also provide training to the economic development individuals that actually do the work as well.
That's good. That made it even better. So then you said CFI. Tell me what that means.
CDFI. So CDFI is a community development financial institution.
Okay.
And it's an organization designated by the United States Treasury that has a mission to infuse and provide capital in low-income areas or to businesses that are owned by minority or women. Okay. So that's really what a CDFI is. And we have requirements that we need to meet with the Treasury in that we have to make, I think 65 to 70% of the loans that we make through our CDFI has to be to minority-owned businesses, or has to be to businesses in low-income areas. So we operate two CDFIs, one called Grow America Fund that's been around for over 20 years, making government guaranteed loans, specifically SBA 7A loan, and SBA stands for Small Business Administration. And then the second CDFI making any type of loan that is in SBA, specifically micro loans to businesses that may not qualify or meet the SBA's underwriting parameter. So really what a CDFI is a lender, but it's a non-bank lender, making loans that banks don't want to make to businesses that may not fit their banking profile.
So if the viewing audience was looking, like say if they wanted to do a project or something, they would come to you guys and explain the project, then you would be able to direct them. Okay, if it's something that we can do, should we direct you to a CDFI? You'll just help compartmentalize them in what it is that they're trying to do?
Correct. So if we're not able to provide the direct lending, again, through our CDFIs, we would direct them to the right lender or the appropriate sources to help them accomplish their project, for sure.
Okay. And then the one last thing, when you talked about the SBA 7A, for that, don't they have to be put in a category or licensed or certificate, have some type of certificate to do that kind of work? How does that work?
Not necessarily. Okay. So what the SBA 7A program is, it's a program that is administered by the SBA. So the SBA is the governing entity.
Mm-hmm.
However, each bank or lender has a license to make SBA loans. And the reason why the SBA has put this program together is that the SBA understands that some businesses, whether they're too early, meaning they're just a startup, or they have low credit score, or they don't have the collateral to secure a loan, still need funding and may not be able to get funded from a bank or directly from a bank. So what the SBA program does is that the SBA provides a guarantee on whatever loan that an SBA lender makes. So an example, if someone approached me and said they needed $100,000 to start up a business, if they went to a bank, for example, the bank would probably say, no, you have no proven history, they will turn them down. Through the SBA program, the SBA provides a guarantee, usually up to 85%. So they will guarantee $85,000 of that 100K, and that entices the lender to want to make the loan because the SBA is guaranteeing a portion of it. So there are a lot of businesses out there that may not qualify for a bank loan, but through the SBA program, because of that guarantee, they can qualify.
Right. So it takes away the risk factors.
That's correct.
For the lender.
Exactly.
Faye, anything you want to share before I go into my next question?
I keep going with the questions as you were talking. I was thinking about, because I'm also relatively new to this whole finance world, so I know that there's a lot of jargon and acronyms. But I think we're going down a great path because it's naturally kind of leading to what I'm sure your audience wants to hear as we talk more about microloans and the specifics, like, what makes a microloan versus a regular bank loan? How much do we usually loan up into? What are the qualifications? I think we're kind of getting there. So I'd love for you to go ahead and ask your question.
Cool.
And certainly please point out if I'm using too much finance jargon.
Oh, I'll get you together. I'm gonna get you all the way together, okay? Because my audience need to understand what you're saying.
Please
so I can always tell people this show, we want to bring the emerging entrepreneurs, the small business owners, and the community leaders together, because together, as we collaborate in partnership, the emerging entrepreneurs get a better understanding of what it is that they need to do just to be able to be viable, to be in business. The small business can help come back and help them, and then the community leaders can let us know about these PPP programs and this Cuyahoga County stabilization programs and all the different programs that are out here that we can take advantage of. So on that note, speak to me about the PPP.
So PPP is a program it's a new program that the Small Business Administration put out in response to the COVID-19 pandemic, because a lot of states required businesses to shut down. What that means is that a lot of employees were either furloughed or lost their jobs. So in response to that, the SBA wanted to put out something fast that keep people employed, either employed or at least paid for a period of time. So they came out with the Paycheck Protection Program. And what they did is they put out a budget. I think their initial budget was about 500. No, I'm sorry. 50 billion or 500 billion.
It was a lot of money.
It was a lot of money. Mm-hmm. And what they did is they asked every bank and every lender out there to make loans to small businesses to cover payroll for about a 8-week period, actually a 10-week period. So we were one of those lenders. We didn't participate in the first tranche of the PPP program because we couldn't raise money fast enough. But in the second round, we did participate, and as I mentioned earlier, we made about $100 million in loans to businesses across the country. What the program really is paycheck protection. So it really is money given to a business to cover payroll for a period of time. And it's a forgivable loan. So if you use it for what it's intended, with it, which is to pay your employees, the SBA will eventually forgive that loan.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. I was like, okay, so if I'm tight and I was closed, how am I gonna pay you back?
Exactly.
So basically you're saying if I meet this certain criteria, I don't have to pay you back. It's a forgiving loan.
Exactly. So you go to a lender, you submit an application. and supporting documents, which primarily will include your tax documents, such as your IRS 940 and your 941. Some lenders, including us, will ask for tax returns. And then we calculate based on how much you paid in payroll in 2019, what your average monthly payroll is. So if you submitted your tax documentation, for example, for 2019, and you paid a total of $100,000 in payroll, we would take that number, we'll divide it by 12, and then get your monthly payroll, and then multiply by 2.5 to get 10 weeks, which is 2.5 of payroll, and that will be your maximum loan amount, and then that will be the amount we lend you. And your job is to take that money once you get it in your account and pay your employees for pretty much 10 weeks. And if you can show that you did that, that's big, and we'll forgive that loan.
Awesome. That's great. That's amazing. Is still some money available?
There is still over $50 billion available for sure. So there is a lot of money available still, and folks can still apply. And we are still accepting application. We had a portal where you can go in and a link to click and apply. We shut that down because things are slowing back down. We're moving towards forgiveness. But again, my email, you can email me if you're interested at iOfficer, which I can provide at the end of this webinar. You can submit an application or at least express your interest, and I'll send you an application to submit.
Okay, I'm gonna pause and take a rabbit trail. So how many times do you have people that are in business, but they're not functioning in business above ground? You understand what I'm saying? So they're in business, but it's more or less like a hustle than a business. So now we're here in this pandemic and they need some money, but they don't have the records. They haven't registered with the state. They don't have the EIN. Speak to how important that is to have your business legit. So when I need to come to you to get something.
Faye, I'll let you take that, then I'll jump in.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's a subject that's near and dear because I understand both sides of the game.
Me too.
You know, and entrepreneurship is, you know, everything from the kid with the lemonade stand to someone actually, you know, the guy who founded Amazon. But to your point, what really makes the difference between a side hustle and being a business owner is making it official. And in saying that, I mean, it really has to be recognized by our government. You have to sign up with your state. You have to submit taxes to the government. And that has so many benefits. I think a lot of times people are hesitant to do that because they hear taxes and get nervous, and that's money they have to pay. Or, you know, there's a concern about spending or reporting that may end up costing you. But really and truly, because of the way that this whole system is set up, it's your only safety net. You know, as you get to retirement, if you go and you put in Social Security, you know, this is a off the beaten trail story. My dad, when I was like, I got my first job, I'll never forget, he told me to sign up for a Social Security income statement. You know, every year they're tracking how much you make. And that's basically, I don't know what Social Security is going to look like, and I certainly don't want to get in that conversation, but it's an important point because that's being tracked over your lifetime. That is what you are able to stake your claim to. In times like this, when it gets difficult, you need to be able to document and show the value that you're creating in your community. And that's just what I implore all your listeners, those with side hustles and those with official businesses, to understand that, you know, not to cut themselves short. You're creating value. The whole point of business is you're giving someone something that's valuable and they're giving you money. Okay, so just like it's important to own land, it's important to document the value that you're creating in your community and for the United States. And that documentation does drive a lot of things. Now, and speaking with people who are, who come across that, you know, they're actually doing pretty well in the side hustle, you know, selling cakes after church to everybody, doing birthday parties, doing events, doing things and coming out with some serious cash, but have not formalized it. what I would say there is there's so many free resources out here online, certainly through the NDC, to help guide you through that process, how to get an EIN, how to even, and we don't advocate a specific accounting program that I know of. So as I'm speaking to your audience, I'm speaking now as the owner of outofsighthair.com and what I do personally. But there's so many apps, like for example, QuickBooks, and it's not very expensive at all. I'm talking less than $10 a month to just track your expenses, so that when tax time comes around, you can report on that. And that's just one. There's so many apps out there. I'm not speaking for the organization and promoting any particular one. I'm just encouraging all your listeners to do the quick Google search and leverage a lot of the technology that's out now that really makes it easier for business owners to obtain the certification that they need, which as you mentioned, is basically an EIN. People can go look in the state of Ohio and understand what they need to do to register their business. There's services out there online that you can pay and they'll do it all for you. And then there's apps that you can download that can tie into your personal expenses or business card expenses to help track that. And again, going back to the training that we offer in our Cash Reigns Supreme program, we talk a lot about the importance of that type of bookkeeping, because, often as business owners, we think about when money is coming in. I sell you a bottle of this, you give me whatever money, that's money in, but we don't account for all the little costs that it got to the point for me to hand you that bottle, your cost of goods, the time involved, the packaging, the shipping, all those different logistical things. So whereas you may think you're making $10 profit, when you actually start accounting, you get to see that your margins can be significantly different. And certainly that's something that in all of his expertise is quick, and he can pick that up in a piece of paper. He doesn't even need to speak with someone. Through your financial statements, they speak a certain language. People who are trained and experts like him can really understand the language of that business. So it's so critical to document and to learn about that documentation process.
Yeah, I think, with COVID-19 happening and people needing money, a lot of them were turned away because it wasn't documented, right? And I remember back in the day, I used to do a coaching program called Turn Your Hustle into a Business, where it's important to get the hustle to find out if it's really what you want to do. Because you can think, okay, I think I want to bake some cakes and sell them. And then you've never really baked some cakes and sell them. And people probably don't even like your cake, right? So then you do have to test the market, you know what I'm saying, and see if it's a market for it. But once you realize there is a market for it, turn your hustle into a business, get everything legit. So if something does come on or come up along the lines, you have everything in place. So that's very important. Thank you, Faye, for sharing. All right. You talked about the pay protection program, and it's another program out there, the Cuyahoga Stabilization Program.
Yes. As I mentioned, the Paycheck Protection Program was in response to the current pandemic they were all experiencing. In further response to that, we partnered with Cuyahoga County to allocate some funds specifically to provide stabilization loans to businesses in the county. These are micro loans up to $10,000 to businesses that prior to COVID-19 were viable, and viability in our realm pretty much means ability to pay. So what we're looking for are businesses that in 2019, they would have been able to afford to pay on a $10,000 loan. We understand that over the last 4 months, things would have been tight and probably owe back rent and utilities. So this is money that they can use to catch up on those things, catch up on rent, pay some employees that they couldn't have paid, or use for pivot opportunities or or additional revenue streams. Businesses that, for whatever reason, are just not able to get back to normalcy for months to come or years to come, can take this money and use the funds to get stabilized and get back to normal. The loan is a 1-year loan. It is an interest rate of 0.5%, so it's 0.5%, and it's pretty much interest only for the entire term. The first 3 months, you make no payments. And then starting month 4, you begin to make payments until the loan is up. And at the end of that 1 year, the $10,000 you have to pay back. Our goal, however, is to work with you. We want to be able to, at the end of that year, build a relationship and hopefully determine what your true needs are, whether it means you need additional money or you just need a longer term loan. And at that point, we will at least agree to some type of term. But what we really wanted to do was provide immediate capital now, where you don't have to think about the monthly payment for a year. Pay interest only on a $10,000 loan at 0.5%. It's $5 a month. So it's you just building that relationship with us, and paying $5 for a year. And at the end of that year, hopefully we've built enough relationship to figure out what your true needs are, either providing you with additional capital or refinancing the $10,000. So you have to be located in Cuyahoga County. We are prioritizing minority, African-American, Latino-owned businesses or businesses in a low-income census tract. But again, as Faye mentioned, our priority as an organization is making loans to minority-owned businesses. We've loaned some money over the last month. We have some money left, and we can accept 10 or 15 more applications. So again, I'll provide that email at the end of this call, where you can, express your interest, and I can send you the application to submit. Because we don't have a huge pot of money, we did not make this available on our website, but it is something that is available and is still available, but it'll run out quickly.
Right. So my question is, can I use these two programs in conjunction with each other? Can I get the PPP and then pay for my employees and then get the stabilization loan to take care of some things that I'm not able to take care of?
Absolutely, you can. We want to get you as much money as you need. So you can use your paycheck protection, get the stabilization loan, get additional loans that are out there or grants that are available to you. We want you to take advantage of any and all available loan or grant programs. As we understand, the businesses are hurting and they need the capital. So we're not restricting you to anything in this program specifically. So you can use both for sure.
So I know the ideal borrower is a minority, whether it's a woman, people of color, Hispanic, Native Americans, or what have you. So is that basically the profile of the ideal borrower, or just let us know what's the profile of the ideal borrower?
Yeah, the profile of the ideal borrower depends on the loan program. For our government SBA loan programs, we want to see an existing business that's growing and has viability. You don't have to be in business for 30 years, but 2 years is ideal, and show a good trend in your finances or your revenues or profitability. A minority-owned business, again, is an ideal, or a business in a low-income area, and a business and a business owner that shows the ability to repay a loan is an ideal borrower for, frankly, not just us, but really any lender, because every lender wants to get paid. So it is dependent on what program, but yes, that is kind of the gamut we look for and the type of businesses that we look for. We do fund startups on a case-by-case basis, but you gotta be strong. Have a sound business plan, have sound financial projections, have experience, and not only that, have come to the table with some mitigates to help us reduce our risk. That means collateral, that means partnerships, meaning additional people on your team. That means experience, or just come to the table with something. We will fund startups on a case-by-case basis, but we usually max out when it comes to the startups around $300,000. Anything above that, we would dig in a lot to really help mitigate our risk. But yeah, ideal business is a growing business minority owned or in an area that is considered underserved with a viable business model.
That's awesome. So let's back up and talk about those startups, because that's very rare. So very rarely do you find lenders in this climate willing to take the risk, because it's totally a risk when it comes to startups. So speak about that a little bit to my viewing audience, helping them to understand the benefits of having a business plan. So I can't come to you and be like, hey, oh, I got this dope idea. And I think that you need to just give me some money because it is dope. Listen to this, but nothing in writing. Speak to that.
Well, you can absolutely come to me with that, and I'll just turn you back and tell you to go write it on a plan. So you can call me; I will answer. But my response would be go put it on paper, and find me some, like I mentioned earlier, someone that can speak on your behalf. If that means go to the Urban League, go to SCORE, go to your SBDCs. Let them help you put this on paper and put your ideas on paper. Put together a financial forecast for 2-3 years. Show me how you're going to make money. And prove to me that your service or your product is one that will generate some traction. I need to see that, and I need to be able to, frankly, tell the folks that are making a decision on your. I'm your advocate because I'm a loan officer, but I need to be able to tell or convince others that your business has some viability. So we would not fund a startup without a business plan. I don't think anyone would. So that's your first step, is put pen to paper, write a business plan, not just write fluff. Really think through what this business is, dig into the numbers, ask questions, do some research, understand your competition, understand the barriers of entry, and understand the risk that's involved with the industry, and also come to the table with some experience. And if you don't have experience, partner with folks that do. Without a doubt, business plans are super important. I'm sure Fae can even dig into that a little bit more, but business plans are vital. Without them, it's just a non-starter.
Yeah, I was going to add to that. One of the great things that we do at NDC is we work with all of our wonderful community partners. And O's mentioned Urban League, who we really started in the Cleveland area with, but there's so many other organizations out there that can really help guide and mentor people through that business plan process. We also work with President's Council, Collaboration Station, just a couple off the top of my head. And to his point about the business plan and working with the value of working with people, and I understand that a lot of times, especially if it's a side hustle, you have your main thing, you have a family, you have a lot of things that put demand on your time. But I think the most important thing for entrepreneurs to understand is, return on investment. So making that time investment in securing a business plan and developing the relationships and doing the homework, that's not time spent, that's time invested. Just like we talked about, actually officializing your business, and doing what you need to do to obtain your EIN, to work at the accountant or get some program to file your taxes and to keep track of all these things. Those do have an expense, but that I would consider as a business investment. You're able to write it off, it pays back to you. So through NDC, we can help with that. And, but also for all your listeners, just really looking into where they are and who's around them locally and networking. Speaking to people and asking them, are they part of an organization, and how does that really work for them? Because just like O said, the value is these organizations like NDC have been around for years. They have experts on the team. We know what banks are looking for. Our particular program for multicultural community impact makes those guidelines a little less stringent because they are guaranteed, but the guidelines are always going to be there. And it's our goal to get all businesses, fully functioning and able to be a strong player in the community, period.
Mm-hmm.
And just to add to that, if I may, because Faye pointed at it, is skin in the game. Skin in the game doesn't necessarily and always have to be monetary. Even though we require for startups that you bring something to the table, 10, 20, in many cases, 30% of the project. But skin in the game can be the time you put into putting together your business plan. That is skin in the game, because it would show when I read the business plan, and I've read many, so I know when you're BSing and I know when you're actually serious. But also taking the initiative of incorporating your business, taking the initiative of getting an EIN number. Those are little things that not only speeds up the process when you look for financing, but also makes a good first impression when a lender looks at your file and saying, okay, this person has done this, and I'll take them seriously.
Yeah, that's good. And I like when you guys talked about, the partnerships and the importance of partnership. And partnership doesn't always have to be on a grand scale. It could be on a small scale. So if I have the experience in this business, but I don't have the skills as it relates to the accounting, the bookkeeping, or what have you, how important is it for me to bring in a partner that has those skills? And when you're looking at the business plan, how does that compute with you when you say, okay, this person has 30 years in the beauty industry, but they really don't know how to crunch these numbers, but they brung Fae in who has the background in the numbers, and it kind of completes the picture even more. So speak to the importance of that.
It's a risk. It's a risk mitigate. Every lender when lending to you, is taking a risk, no matter what the loan size is. It is a risk, because there are no guarantees that that a business or a borrower will pay back. However, everyone's looking for ways to mitigate the risk, and having partners, not just having partners, just to have partners, but having partners with different strengths. Literally checks those boxes off. So if you have someone that has a finance background and someone that actually knows operations, someone is good with marketing, you don't have to bring them on as an equity partner, but have someone on your team at least that you can call that can help you with social media, someone you can call that can help you to negotiate contracts, someone you can call that can put your books in order, so that you know where your business is going. It's a risk mitigate, and it's I mean, I can't even put the word to it how valuable it is. But it's very, very valuable. And in looking and reading business plans, I love to see a one page of just talking about your team, who they are, what their resume looks like, what their experience is, if not, do they have any ownership in the business, what their roles are going to be as you're growing. That's vital.
It is so vital, and that's one thing I always stress to the viewing audience. You're not gonna know everything. It's just like virtually impossible. Some things that we're just going to be ignorant of, and that's just the way we're built. But at the same time, it's somebody else that know that, and it's real easy for them.
Yep.
So it's just a matter of partnering, and through the networking, that's
Yep.
how you find out somebody's skill set. And if you're a good fit, just because you have the skills doesn't mean that you're a good fit either.
That's right.
Yeah. So this is you guys part of the show, right? We're down to the last 10 minutes. So this is the call for action. So Faye, I'm going to let you do the first call for action and give out all the information, share your closing remarks with the viewing audience. And then after that, it'll be your turn for the call for action. Give out your contact information, share your closing thoughts with the viewing audience.
All right. Well, thanks. And again, I just really want to encourage everyone to visit our website, ndconline.org. It's a big site. It talks about all the things that NDC does. And to O's point, we've been in business for 50 years. So that's certainly a lot of things. But in regards to this conversation, a lot of resources that we talked about can be found on the Multicultural Community Impact page. If you go to the page and you look kind of to the right on the right, there's a sign up for our newsletter, which I would encourage everyone to do, please, because that newsletter is going to keep you abreast of any of the trainings that we talked about. When those classes are available, you'll be able to get a heads up so you can participate in them live. And you'll also be able to hear any replays that we post for classes. And right now we have up the replays for our 3-part series of Cash Reigns Supreme. So that's the biggest call to action, first and foremost, to get involved with NDC, to let us know who you are, to sign up for our newsletter, and check out what we have to offer. And then, as we talked about, reach out to some of our community partners. It's great that you're listening with Christian Networking Entrepreneurs today. We have partnerships with Urban League, the President's Council, Collaboration Station, like I said, just a few off the top of my head, but get involved with local organizations that have other like-minded business people involved, so that they can help you wherever you are in your stage of the process. If you're the hustler taking their business official and getting incorporated, if you're the small business owner who has a business infrastructure, who has somewhat of a team, taking it to the next level of actually getting an employee. You know, that's something I kind of wanted to touch on earlier when we talked about PPP. It's this great business opportunity, but I think a lot of people realize real quick, wow, if I don't have any employees, you know, how am I really going to take part in that? And even as a really small business owner, there's a lot of great resources out there on how to hire your family members, you know, how to kind of barter and make it work from a documentation standpoint, so that your business is able to grow, but most importantly, you're able to connect with lenders like NDC, who can give you access to more capital and more opportunities as your business continues to grow. So that would be my major call to action. Visit the website. My email address is F is in Fae Harris, Harris, at ndconline.org. So Fae Harris at ndconline.org. If you have any questions, or you want to just reach out and learn more about the community partners that we have, or, you know, speak to me individually, I'm always open and excited to meet people, especially here in the Cleveland area, and talk about business and talk about NDC and what we have to offer.
Thanks, Faye. I appreciate that. Okay, your closing remarks and call to action.
Thank you, Faye. She said it all. I think it's really building relationships with our local partners, who are the first, I guess, door that you have to walk through to getting help and assistance for your business. She's mentioned all of our partners, the Urban League, Jumpstart, and several organizations that we're partnering with is reaching out to them to get assistance for your business. If you've not taken advantage of the programs that are out there, whether they be federal or local programs, PPP, EIDL, or the Cuyahoga Stabilization Fund, please do your research on those programs. Make sure you understand the programs, but please take advantage if you qualify, because they're there for you and to assist your business with growth. If you're a startup just looking to put pen to paper to really build your business plan, just take advantage of free resources out there with SBDCs, the SBA offices, urban leagues to help you build your business plan, financial forecasting, get you ready to launch your business or to gain or obtain capital to launch or grow your business. My advice is just stay and keep learning. Visit our website, ndconline.org, and as you know, as we put these classes out, we'll definitely keep you informed. My email where you can reach out if you need additional information is iofficer, IOFFICER, at ndconline.org. Or you can also reach out to Faye. We are in constant communication, so whatever questions or concerns that you have, we will be happy to address. But thanks again for having me. This is awesome. And again, feel free to reach out.
All right. Thank you guys so much for being on the show. We appreciate it. And I know I learned a lot. So I'm hoping that my viewing audience learned a lot as well. Again, I'm Pastor T. This is Christian Networking Entrepreneurs, where we talk to emerging entrepreneurs, small business owners, and community leaders. And remember, if you don't network, you don't work. So get out there and start networking. Have a great day, everybody. I appreciate you guys being on the show today. Take care. Bye-bye.